Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, here with part 2 of the Suez Crisis. Very controversial subject, I guess, or war. Uh, a lot of people seem to be like picking sides, like, who's to blame or who has the rights or whatnot. And, trying to go like this, but yeah, you can't see my hands. But, anyways, so the Egyptians in the right, or is like Britain in the right, the Britain president? It's kind of like, who, I don't know, who has the rights to, who has the rights, but who's in the wrong, and it seems like I've seen a few comments, and not everyone's on the same page. So that's always awesome, just interesting when different points of view and everything. So I think that's really cool, that it's not like one definitive answer to that question that everyone's got their own opinions on. So that's always really cool. I like that stuff, controversy and stuff like that, because yeah, I mean, people have got their opinions and can't really change that, right? So uh I'm sure there's a right and wrong answer, but we're not gonna go into the I don't know. I don't want. I guess I'm done with this debate. But anyways, I guess I'm not done with it because we have part 2 going on right now. But we left off. I guess they were right about to go to war, and so I'm guessing this is the war. Like, this is to be like the cool part of the video, because the first part was like, this is why we're going to war. This is our reasonings, and the build up to why we're going to war. But now we get to like, the main juicy part right here, the war part. But yeah, first of all, I wanted to say that the poll is up for like the next series. I might do the top 2, like the top 2 winners. Like, there's 5 series on there. I might do the top 2. No, hold me to it. For one who wins, I'm definitely doing it. But excuse me, I might do the top 2. So just say like one series has a giant lead. And you're like, oh, why should I vote? One's gonna win. Vote for the second best series, because I'll probably do the top 2. So your favorite one might still have a chance to be done. It won't be the first one done. The number one, whoever finishes first, I'll do first, and then whoever came second, obviously I'll do next to the next series. I don't know. I just letting you guys know the polls up there. Go vote. Yeah. So let's get into this, guys. Before I do, please hit that like and subscribe. Sorry if I'm like, I always do these videos after work unless it's my day off. So I'm sorry if I'm out of it half the time or most of the time on these videos. I'm just tired, and so I might not be there. Well, I'm never all there, but you know what I'm saying. Oh God, how do you guys deal with me? All right, what are we doing? Suez Crisis Part 2 of 2. Oh my God, I don't even know what we're doing. All right, 3, 2, 1, bam.
In July 1956, Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser announced the nationalization of the Suez Canal Company. Egyptians would take charge of this vital strategic waterway, connecting Europe to Asia, with immediate effect. Britain and France relied on the canal route for their vital supplies of Middle East oil, which fueled their economies. In their eyes, Nasser was a threat, a dictator intent on uniting the Arab world against them, destroying their influence in the Middle East and North Africa. And
I was thinking, NASA, like, the people are, from what I remember, the people are for him, right? Like, the people like him. So, what if you do take him out, and someone that you want to be in his place, the people aren't just probably aren't just going to sit back. Okay, this is our new leader. I mean, the people are probably going to rise above and know that what the deal is, and they're you're going to get chaos, and you're probably not going to get control of the canal either way. That's what I think it is. For all I know, they wouldn't. They get control after this. I don't know. I don't know. Shut up, Paul. Let's just get to this video.
destroying their influence in the Middle East and North Africa, and using control of the canal as a weapon against them. Secretly, Britain and France agreed to force regime change on Egypt. A joint military intervention to depose Nasser and reassert their standing as global powers.
They are going to try and assassinate him. Okay. One of the craziest months in history, October 1956.
But it was not Britain or France that struck first against Nasser.
Oh, really?
It was Israel.
Oh.
On the 29th of October, Israeli paratroopers landed in the Egyptian Sinai, seizing the strategic Mitla Pass and paving the way for an invasion by ground forces.
Huh. Interesting.
At the UN, Israel insisted it was acting in self-defense against raids by Palestinian fighters known as Fedayeen, operating from bases in Gaza and Sinai.
Is determined to wipe out the bases in the Sinai.
Israel. It's kind of funny because maybe I should have done the Israel video first, because today I'm doing this the second part of this series in Israel, but I actually haven't done the Israel one yet. I'm doing that one second, even though it actually releases first, if that makes any sense. I wish I did the Israel Geography Now video before I did this video, because then it might help me on learning a little bit more about this. But I do know Israel has a great army, because I did do an Israel, the 6-Day War. And Israel kicked butt in that thing, man. So I know Israel's got some firepower, and they know what they're doing. So just want to throw that out there. Definitely check out that video too. It's pretty cool.
Is determined to wipe out the bases in the Sinai wilderness, from which murder and death and destruction are launched again.
But there were no Fedayeen bases in Sinai. Britain and France, claiming to be acting on behalf of the international community, issued an ultimatum to both sides. Stop fighting within 12 hours and withdraw all forces 10 miles from the Suez Canal, or they would intervene to enforce compliance. Egypt was effectively being told to abandon the Sinai and the canal. Israel accepted the terms. Nasser refused. So on the 31st of October, British and French aircraft, taking off from carriers in the Mediterranean and bases in Cyprus and Malta, began bombing Egyptian airfields, air defenses and infrastructure. But not all was as it seemed. Israeli Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion had been considering an attack on Egypt for many months.
Okay.
He was encouraged by Moshe Dayan, the hawkish commander of Israel's armed forces. Nasser, like all leaders of Arab states, did not view the new Jewish state as legitimate. Now receiving modern weapons from Czechoslovakia, he was seen as a potential threat to Israel's survival. They were also determined to end Egypt's blockade of the Straits of Tiran, which prevented Israeli access to the Red Sea and limited opportunities for trade. France wanted to ally with the Israelis to get rid of Nasser, but British Prime Minister Sir Anthony Eden was anxious about being seen as the aggressor. So the French came up with an idea.
What?
At Sèvres, near Paris, representatives of Britain, France and Israel met in secret to plan a war. Israel would invade Egypt, allowing Britain and France, posing as peacemakers, to issue an ultimatum they knew only Israel would accept. Then, claiming to be acting to safeguard the Canal, they would invade Egypt and overthrow Nasser.
Wow.
Though they had no real plan for what to do once he was gone. It would take years for the full details of this conspiracy to emerge.
Dang, I mean,
Tactical backpack. No hidden charges, memberships, or recurring billing.
sorry.
Just cover the shipping.
So that, all right, so okay, they have a plan. This is our plan, and once it's like a halfway plan. Okay, we want to get them out, but we don't know what we're doing after we get them out. I mean, because you never know, man. You might get someone that's much worse, you know. Oh man, this is wow. This is kind of cool though. It's like top secret stuff is like coming to play here. This is interesting, man. Totally different than normal videos I do, it seems like.
Details of this conspiracy to emerge. On the 5th of November, after a week of bombing, and with Israeli troops winning the battle in Sinai, British and French paratroopers were dropped onto targets around Port Said and Port Fuad at the mouth of the Suez Canal.
Oh man. Very scary.
Once on the ground, they quickly seized Egyptian airfields and key infrastructure. The next morning, under cover of airstrikes and naval bombardment, British and French landings began.
Wow.
Fierce street fighting raged throughout the day. But the Egyptians were massively outgunned, and it proved a one-sided contest. Around 600 Egyptian soldiers and police were killed.
Damn.
British and French deaths totaled just 26. Egyptian civilians suffered most. Up to 1,000 lost their lives,
Wow.
with many more left homeless by air raids and shelling. By the end of the day, the British and French were in control.
That would suck because you know all those civilians that died and you broke all their houses, because don't you kind of need like the civilian population on your side, you know? Because then you end up getting like you don't know who's gonna attack you if you have all this citizens against you as well, man. It'd be hard to defend yourself if you don't know who a good guy and a bad guy is. I don't know. No, I'm just curious to see if that comes into play.
In control. But they couldn't prevent the Egyptians sabotaging the Suez Canal itself. They sank ships in its narrow channel, blocking the canal and putting it out of action for several months.
Damn.
It wasn't hard to see that the British, French and Israelis were working together. And at the United Nations, world opinion quickly turned against them. For once, the US and Soviet Union were united in condemnation.
What?
A typically animated Soviet premier, Nikita Khrushchev, even threatened to fire rockets at Paris and London.
Wow.
President Eisenhower thought the invasion had no moral or legal justification, and he was furious with his British ally for going behind his back.
The British and French governments delivered a 12-hour ultimatum to Israel and Egypt, now followed up by armed attacks against Egypt. The United States was not consulted in any way about any phase of these actions, nor were we informed of them in advance.
I want to say something controversial right now. Come on, man. the United States has been part of a lot of wars. Come on, you guys know not all of them have probably been like the best reasoning to go to war. Not all of them, you know. You guys know what I mean, right? Come on, yeah, don't be hating on me. That just seems kind of odd, because in this day and age, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up, but I'm sorry.
As it is the manifest right of any of these nations to take such decisions and actions, it is likewise our right, if our judgment so dictates, for we do not accept the use of force as a wise or proper instrument for the settlement of international disputes.
Eisenhower wanted international attention focused on Hungary, where Soviet troops were, at that moment, brutally crushing a popular uprising.
Oh, wow.
Instead, Britain and France's reckless intervention was likely to push Arab states closer to the Soviet Union. In the UN Security Council, Britain and France used their veto to block resolutions that criticized Israel's attack on Egypt, or their own intervention. But with both world superpowers condemning their attack, they now faced a vote in the General Assembly and the threat of UN sanctions.
Wow.
Britain's economy had been fragile before the crisis began. Now, market fears caused the British currency to crash, threatening economic disaster.
Wow. I didn't know any of
Only a
this.
massive loan from the International Monetary Fund could save Britain. But Eisenhower blocked any IMF aid until Britain agreed to a UN-backed ceasefire in Egypt.
Wow.
Funky Buddha Premium Hard Seltzer. That's different.
Yeah, I know
Absolutely.
I know you guys are complaining about my commercial. I'm sorry.
Eden, facing growing opposition abroad, at home, and from within his own government, had few options. Just 2 days after British troops landed in Egypt, they announced a ceasefire. The French, abandoned by their ally, had no choice but to follow suit. Within days, the UN's first major peacekeeping operation got underway, as Danish UN troops arrived in Egypt to take over from the British and French.
Damn. You gotta be pissed. Like, just say you're like the family members. Just like it was your family member that went to war, like for Britain, and died in this war, and then it's like, it's back out, we're putting the UN guys in. That would suck, man. Like, if my kid just died for nothing, I'm sorry. I just kind of say what comes to mind. I'm just random.
As they packed up and re-embarked on their landing ships to return home, it was officially job well done.
Oh, yeah?
But in truth, Suez had been a humiliating fiasco. The political leadership had been reckless, the military objectives confused, and as soon as international pressure had mounted up, the British had had no option but to abort the entire mission. That winter, under intense American pressure, Israeli forces also withdrew from Sinai.
This also kind of shows, like, the big switch in power. Like, like Britain and France, basically the two, like, big, like, superpowers, well, two of the biggest superpowers, like, just many, many years earlier, and just kind of like, on the world stage, and now it's switched. Like, they're not the big names to kind of like, they're not the big names to kind of like call the shots really anymore. It switched over to the Soviet Union and the United States. The roles have changed, and I guess it's just kind of a, one of those big shifts, in history kind of thing,
Israeli forces also withdrew from Sinai. The Suez Crisis forced Britain and France to accept that they were now second-rank powers. No longer could they act as they wished on the world stage
I just said
without
that.
first considering the view of the United States. The lesson taken by the British was never again to jeopardize their so-called special relationship with America.
I said it first, though.
For France, the lesson was that Britain and America were unreliable allies, and their interests were better served by closer ties within Europe.
Huh.
Israel achieved some objectives, including the opening of the Straits of Tiran to Israeli shipping. But with Nasser still in power, future conflict with Egypt and its other Arab neighbors was almost certain. The Sinai War proved to be a precursor to the far more decisive Six-Day War, fought a decade.
And we did the 6-Day War. Man, I love this, man. All these, I say it every single time. The videos kind of, I don't know, going with each other. I guess I should have done this video before the 6-Day War, but yeah, it happens, right?
Decade later, British Prime Minister Sir Anthony Eden's career and health were ruined.
Yeah.
He resigned, but not before lying to Parliament about his knowledge of the secret deal with Israel.
Oh, no.
I wish my successor all good fortune. And Godspeed to you all. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Why even... It's like, what's done is done, so why even bring that up? Just like, okay, guys, let's just say we never did this, and just forget about it, because, yeah, then we just look like, this doesn't look good on us, why even bring it up? Just forget about it. I don't know. Unless they couldn't hide it, unless the evidence was going to be shown. It's like, they're going to find out about this, we might as well just save face or whatever, and just go ahead and tell them ourselves,
And Godspeed to you all. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
President Nasser, fated as the hero of the Arab world for having stood up to European imperialists, had in reality been saved by US and UN intervention. But his modernizing reforms, championing of the Arab cause, and opposition to foreign intervention mean his memory is still revered by Arabs across the Middle East. The impact of the Suez Crisis on America was perhaps the most far-reaching. The collapse of British and French prestige amongst Arab nations meant the US would now take the lead in countering Soviet expansion in the Middle East and securing the West's oil supplies. The Suez Crisis would accelerate US involvement in this volatile region. The consequences would stretch well into the 21st century.
Clarifying debate over a possible war in Iraq has given an added sense of urgency to their mission.
No ending in sight either.
Join the ranks.
That's it. I mean, well, obviously there's not going to be some some big decisive battle victory. Just kind of politics came involved in that. It just ended it. There wasn't no decisive battle. It was just other outside countries saying, "Hey, and you guys should stop. Stop or else," kind of thing. And that's just kind of how it went down. But anyways, hope you guys liked this video. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know, it's a very controversial video. this war. I think this is one of the more controversial videos I've done. Just that, I like everybody, I love all countries, and just because I say something, maybe I don't agree with something, maybe someone's country did or something, don't make you think that that's, my views on everything. Because I'm not like that. It's just, if you can switch all countries' names, and if the same thing happened but with different countries' names, I just think I would think the same thing. So, go easy on me, please. I'm just making a video. I don't know. But it's really fun, guys. Really fun. Come on, guys. You guys like this kind of like back and forth and, kind of stuff, right? Yeah, please hit the like and subscribe, guys. Hope you guys like this video. I did. I think I just said that already. But anyways, what video are we doing tomorrow? I don't know. Because obviously the poll is going to go on for a few days before I actually do the winner of the poll. So I'm sure I'll do another 1-part or 2-part series here. Another 1 or 2 of them before I stop the poll. But anyways, guys, thank you. Hit the like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Go vote. And yeah, go vote. I feel like we're having an election here or something. Maybe one time. Maybe eventually we will. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just saying goodbye. Peace. Everyone have a good night, good day, and I am out of here. Woohoo!